Yo, what's up, Galaxy? The silly shroom. Load plus. Oh, I just got hit with a spam message immediately on Twitch, Galaxy. What do you want to draw? Oh, we are getting, damn, 1 second. My YouTube chat always freaks out when I start. So I miss like half of your messages. Oh, here we go. When am I starting? Right now. A cookie. Alright, that's easy enough. Okay. What's up, everybody? Cookie's easy as hell. So, let's think about something else to draw after, because this is going to take 2 seconds. But we can still talk about some art nerd theory very easily. So, like everything can be boiled down to super simple shapes. Right, Galaxy, you've heard this a million times. What is going on here? So, if we're thinking simple, we're thinking boxes, right? You can't get simpler than a box. So, for this cookie, let's just throw out, oh, and then draw myself eating it. Now we're talking. So, let me make sure you can even see this, huh? How are your holidays, Galaxy? So with this, he's drawn a box. Dom, we're back! We're drawing boxes, of course. We're turning a cookie into a box, and then we're going to turn a man eating that cookie into a box. We can rip a super simple, flat box like this. I'm adding a little bit of pizzazz to it by adding perception, or perspective, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to draw some straight lines down, and we're going to have this very thin box, right? Now, because we have this set up, we have the perfect container for whatever cookie we want to draw. Right, Galaxy? Are you following? Are you getting this? And now when we're doing this, we have all of the parameters. So instead of just kind of drawing a big circle and hoping it looks like a cookie, what we're going to do is we're going to draw it side by side. Oh, what's up, Grape Crows? How you been? So we know that it has to curve around this point, and we know that we're going to see most of the top of the cookie and a little bit of the sides of the cookie, right? M&M cookie. All right, I'll throw some M&Ms in there. Sorry you vanished for an eternity and a half. That's okay, so did I. This is like my second stream back in 2 weeks. So for the cookie, I'm going to start with this first line, and that looks solid, but guess what? We have to go and make sure that we have the other side of the cookie as well. So I'm going to elongate that bottom line all the way through to about there, right? You see how I'm following this square and I'm keeping all of the details inside of that square. Now what we can do is we want this cookie to have a little bit of volume up, right? So I'm going to throw in just some indications that this is going to be moving up. And as we're going, if you think about it, we're going to be able to see the entire top plane of this cookie, basically, except for the last little bit that curves over that far edge. So I want to just make a big wide blob that's going to hit all of that and connect up to our base. You see that? And now, even though this kind of looks strange, or it looks sort of blobby, it's actually going to give us a way more accurate depiction of what a cookie looks like in the real world. It almost looks like a bar of soap at this point. We ain't going to talk about it, Crow and Bloom. Yeah, true. I don't know. They haven't been in. I was live 2 days ago and they weren't in then. So, ice cream sandwiches. Ooh, that could work. You have a ton of homework due tonight? Ooh, yeah, you gotta procrastinate on all that. Screw it. But you can see, like, this cookie, so far, we have like the side, and top, and it shows dimension and like a depth moving away from us, right? So we can just soften up some of these edges. And then someone in chat said M&Ms, so we're just going to start throwing in some blobby M&Ms. And now with these, each of these M&Ms is also going to have a front side, a side side, and a top side, right? Because you can't eat cold for a week. What? Why can't you? So we're going to just set up these M&Ms, right? We'll even put one on this far side. But then we have to remember that each of these M&Ms has, how you say, oh, what's the word I'm looking for, Galaxy? I guess perspective, for lack of a better term. So, because each of these M&Ms has its own perspective, we're going to draw maybe like a shallower line right here, and then it's going to pop up and away from that cookie, right? Same thing over here, we're going to see some of the side, and then it's going to pop up and away. For this one, maybe it's actually sort of oblong, and we can see most of it because it's cooked into the cookie. And then for this one, where this flat edge is facing us this way, this flat edge is going to face this side of the box. So we're going to put that flat edge, and then we're going to pop up, right? And you see how like each one of these, for this one, we're going to put the flat edge there, and then we're going to pop up through and over the edge of the cookie, and then we can erase that middle line. And you can see, like, as you're doing this, I'm using this box and I'm using this perspective to slowly give me everything that I've needed. No chocolate chips? Period. Oh, sure. Don't tell Nathan. Crow, what's up? Be right back. Alright, that's fine. So badly influenced by you guys, it looks like a cake. It'll fix. It'll look like a cookie in a little bit. But, as you can see, we have like the baseline for everything. So what we can do now is we can slowly start stripping away that box, just because we already know where all of this stuff is going to go, right? We have this sort of idea. And what we can do now is just lay in final touches. So I want a little bit of bumpy texture on this cookie. Maybe there's some oats in there or something. I want this M&M to pop out just a little bit, and I'm going to refine that line just slightly. I'm going to keep that bumpy nature, but then once we get to this bottom area, I'm going to smooth it out just a little bit. It's going to be completely flat because it's cooked on a pan, right? So we're just going to slowly but surely refine all of these edges. I'm going to erase this one, keeping your pencil lines all super light here, because the lighter you go with everything, the more you can erase as you go, right? Looks like a cake. Next, make some s'mores and then ice cream, because I currently can't have it. I can do that. So then we're just going to slowly refine all of these little M&M lines, and then we're going to put in the classic M&M logo on most of these, and that's going to clue everybody in that these are M&Ms and not just weird boils, right? And we can mess with the size a little bit. I might even take this one down a notch. Oh yeah. And slowly, what was just a box has turned into a disc, has turned into a cookie. And then we can just go in and we throw in little M's everywhere that sort of help our case and make it look like it's 3D, right? So just slight variations. Maybe this one you can barely even see it. And maybe this one it's actually cut into the cookie. And then the rest of this is just going to be detail and finishing and adding some final little touches, some pizzazz, some normalcy, right? Are those just weird boils? See, that's what I'm saying. If you don't add the M, they're just weird boils. But now we can just sort of slowly refine. If you want to do any sort of like hashing or shading or whatever, now is the time to do it, because we've done all of the heavy lifting. We've done all of the setup, right? And we can even like color in the M&Ms a little bit. And when you're coloring stuff in like this and using this perspective method, guess what? Shadows are usually at the bottom. So once we have these all colored in, we can go in with a little bit of a darker pencil around this bottom edge so it looks like it's sitting inside of this cookie. And the more detail you add, the more realistic everything becomes. So if we were to add in a little bit of shading all on this bottom edge, holy smokes, now it looks like it's a little bit 3D. We can add in a little bit of shading around some of these boils, some of these M&Ms. And all of a sudden, this cookie starts coming to life. And we can even add just some random shading to make this look a little bit more realistic. And we can even turn this into an ice cream sandwich, Galaxy. You'll eat my notebook? Don't do that. Oh my god, Bloom! Look who it is! Look who the cat dragged in. It's been weeks. How have you been? So now we have this top cookie. Great, this started as a box. Let's draw another box. So for this one, we don't really need the top anymore, but we can draw out where we think this ice cream is going to sit, right? So if this is our box, and it's all very simple, we know that a ton of this ice cream sandwich is actually going to be hidden by that back half of the cookie, right? Whole gang is here? It really is, except for Crow, but they'll be back. So we know that ice cream is going to be sticking behind that cookie, right? But we'll be able to see it on this edge, so we'll throw in like an indication for ice cream here, and then we'll know that there's going to be a whole nother cookie that's going to mimic this exact edge. You know, in drawing, a lot of things are parallel. A lot of things match up, especially when you're drawing 3D or perspective or whatever. And then this is basically just going to be mirrored, but because we're looking down at it, we're not going to see all of this, like all of this detail on the cookie. We're not even going to see pretty much any of it because it's all sitting. If you imagine, stick with me here. If this top piece is the cookie, we can see the top and the side of it. The ice cream, we can just see the side. And then this bottom thing, we can basically not see any of it. We can just see a little lip. So if you're thinking about it, we're only going to be able to see a lip of this cookie as well. So we can add in, maybe this is like a spirally soft serve ice cream, right? So I'm going to throw in 3 little bumps there. And we can add in little bits of detail to make this look like it was like a spiral soft serve type beat, right? And look at that. Slowly adding just a bunch of detail. That looks scrumptious. And then we're going to add in just that little bumpy cookie. And of course we can't really see anything of this cookie, so we're just going to draw in that edge. And then we can refine and finish. And that's like the whole thing. That's how you turn a cookie into an ice cream sandwich. And everybody's thinking, oh my god, really? Wait, what? You can just do that? When you're drawing, you can just do whatever the hell you want to? Yeah, actually. That's the whole point of drawing. And then to make this look more realistic, guess what? We can add a shadow on this top half of ice cream. And then we can put this whole bottom half cookie into shadow, because it probably will be. Look at that. Monster cookie in ice cream sandwich form. Now, of course, this is just a sketch, and if you wanted to get more detailed and cooler and more epic, you would just have to spend more time, use darker values, different pencil weights. You could go into inking, you could do all of like the dark and light and the highlights and everything. Let's see what we're talking about. A hater broke my tail, and oh my goodness. Galaxy, that's a lot. Having art block, but everything else has been fine, that's great. Yeah, Galaxy's week was pretty bad. weren't ladylike. Oh no. Hey Crow, we're talking about Galaxy crashing out on her grandpa. 20 minutes? Oh no, the hater broke your tail. That really sucks, Galaxy. I'm sorry that happened. Okay. So, let's add in a little bit more dramatic shadow here. Basically, the more you add, the more dynamic colors you can get into a drawing. Usually, the more things stick out and the more people like your art, right? If it's all just sort of one form of gray, it looks flat. If you ever hear people talking about works of art as like flat, or if you draw something and you get a critique that it's flat, it's because you don't have a range of colors. Like in this, you can see very light lines, you can see very dark lines, and you can see middle lines. What you want to do is the more you can create, the more difference, the bigger spread you can have of different values, the better, and the more your drawing will look incredible. So like up here, I can have this tone, and then I can go a little bit darker, and then I can go a little bit darker, and so on and so forth, until you have like a much better range. And then within these, once you have these four, you can sort of tie and mix and blend into each other, and then suddenly you have this sort of huge array of different values, and then all of a sudden you can use graphite pencil to make like what would be a painting at that same time. Let me see. Oh, what are you, Galaxy? What else would I be? Did you see the SD Kid, Timothy Chalamet song? I did. It was so funny. Great, like, honestly, great marketing and PR. Like, I feel like they just did that because it was trending on social media and no other reason. Oh, I forgot to start this timer. Whatever. The tail is forever gone, but guess what, Galaxy? You can make a new and improved one. What grandpa thing? Galaxy's grandpa was being an ass. Oh, sorry, Galaxy. I forgot I can't say that. Okay, but now, since we have this huge range that I explained in this cookie sandwich, we can draw whatever else. Does anyone have any sort of recommendation or an idea of what to draw? Bloom, Crow? Should we draw a tail? A new one? Basically, guess what? You don't care about bad words now? Oh, cool. Is that your New Year's resolution? Holy guacamole. Guess what? Tails are just boxes as well. Everything is boxes. Everything in art is boxes. So what we can do is, let's say, actually I want to start with a different setup. What we can do here, let's say this is like our doorway, right, to our tail tube. Basically, the thing you want to look towards and what you want to think about when you're drawing is, how can I break everything? Ooh, 11 from Stranger Things. I'll write that down. What you want to think about is everything can be a Tupperware container, right? Everything can contain your drawing in any which way that you want it to be. So, with that, guess what? I'm going to draw these two trapezoids on opposite ends of the page, and then we are going to slowly create a full like train down to each other, right? And this is going to give us that perfect Tupperware container that we wanted to get this tail off right. So as we're going, this can be as rough as you want it to be. And in some cases, sometimes if there are too many lines moving, it can sometimes hurt you. But what this does is it sets up a blueprint for where everything should be within the drawing. Galaxy moved the line from bad words to something after beating a defenseless elderly people. No, Galaxy, don't quit. Fried and eaten forever. No, no, no. You'll be fine. And the same thing, so you can see this, and this might be confusing, but it's the same thing as drawing, let's say, a box like this, and then a box like this, and then a box like this, but we're just making these 3D the whole time. Which, like, honestly is probably a little bit confusing, but you gotta get over some of these parts. You gotta start using your brain to visualize everything as weird boxes, right? So, this is our first section, this is our second section, and this is going to be our third section of the tail, right? I'll remember that forever. Be my successor, that'd be cool. So, as this tail begins, we can just sort of start nailing in some detail using this big, weird oblong box as our guide. And pretty quickly, since tail is such an easy shape to draw, pretty quickly we're going to see that this Tupperware container business starts to get in the way a little bit, right? So, as you're going, this is going to be a very fun art exercise. As you're doing this box method, as you're doing all of the simple shape method, you're going to start learning what's helpful and what's not. So I don't actually need to know, or I don't need to show myself that this is where the end of the box is, right? But I do like these outside lines. It's giving me some boundaries. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to slowly erase some of the lines that aren't helping me at all, right? And then as we're doing that, I can sort of start messing around and figuring out the shape and the size of this tail as I go. So now that I have that erased, I'm going to come back through and I'm going to change the shape just ever so slightly. I'm going to follow these curves that I was just making, and now all of a sudden this drawing is starting to pop out from the page a little bit. And I'm thinking, oh my god, well there's the next step. I don't have to have some of these guidelines anymore. Oh, this camera isn't focusing. That is so annoying. I need to buy a new one. So, as you're going through this, you're like, oh my god, this drawing is starting to take shape. I had all of these sort of crutches that I built into it earlier, but now they're starting to get in the way a little bit, so I'll just slowly erase. And as you can see, like we started from this strange oblong whatever, and now we're moving into smooth, organic shapes. And this is where it gets fun too, because tails are so simple that I can just go through this outline and I can come through and add little flare details every so often, and maybe it's a little bit more realistic and it ends a little bit spikier. And you can just come through as much as you want to or as little as you want to, adding all of this detail. And then again, guess what? Start erasing the stuff that's getting in the way. And slowly, this tail is becoming a lot cooler, almost like a feral fox or something, right? And you just like keep drawing a little bit, erasing a little bit. We can do, maybe it has stripes, so I'm going to throw in a bunch of hatching, following that same shape, right? And you're slowly just adding in a bunch of detail. And as you get to the end, it splays out a little bit. And then we can just continue with that crazy detail, and this time get just a little bit more and more detailed with every sort of erase and then reset. And then all of a sudden, you have a crazy tail that's like pretty close to being a realistic whatever. And then you can attach it to whoever you want. You can add in more or little detail. You can do whatever you want. You could add color. Just mess around. That's the whole point of all of this. is to just take really simple shapes and turn them into something medium. Medium good. Oh, what's up, Quartz? How dare you, lol, I'm focused. You're cosplaying as a waterfall? Ooh, Tails are kind of cosplaying as a waterfall all the time. Sorry, do your Twitch tans like hearing you be nerdy? I think so. You got a girlfriend now, Galaxy? Wow, that's great. Congratulations. But as you're going through this, just keep adding. Just keep doing the little box method. Keep doing small, simple shapes. Keep erasing stuff as you go. Keep drawing on top of that stuff that you're erasing. What do I do if I'm really good with shapes now, but I'm not good at making organic things from my imagination, like animals and stuff? Oh. Yeah, Crow, that can happen now. It's 2026. Bloom, that's a great question. And I think the scary answer is going to be practice. I wish it wasn't. But, so like, let's say you do these crazy cool perspective boxes, right? I'll draw some random ones. Like there's that. We'll draw a second one too. We'll draw these two weird oblong perspective shapes, right? Are you seeing these? Practice, I heard it ruins your creativity by a short. That's so fake. Well, sorry, got lost in your IG. Oh, cool. Did you like it, Quartz? It does not, practice does not ruin your creativity. It gives you the tools to make your creativity cool. So, we have these cool shapes, right? And now, say in my imagination, I want this to look like a fox, because we're doing all of these, these tails. So now I have to basically cut into the shape. Think of sculptors. Think of how sculptors take a brick of clay and they're slowly etching stuff out. I'm going to slowly etch like a nose out of this, right? As very rough, just keeping everything very, very rough. I have to etch some eyes. I have to do some cheek stuff. I have to do this jawbone and this cheek. I need an eye right here. I need this head to stretch up and out, but still following these sort of perspective lines that set up, right? And as you're going, this kind of looks like a Simpsons character, but as you're going with all of these simple shapes and as you're doing all of these setups, you slowly see those moments get etched out. So like this is the side of his head, so his cheek is going to be way out here. And then maybe this is his jaw. And you're just like slowly grinding through all of these details. And then let's say his ears are like up here. And then his other ears right here, and that frames the face for us. So now we can draw in his beady little eyes. And then let's say his snout comes down here and he has like one of those little square noses. And then we're going to be able to see a little bit of his mouth popping up and around. And then that's going to come down, and then we're going to see a little bit of his chin. He's got some hairs. And then that's going to come down into his neck, which is that first box. Right? You're seeing all of this? And it's just like slowly you just cut out as much detail from these two boxes as you can. And all of a sudden, like there's at least a fox right here that I just drew off top. And then you do all the detail stuff and all the fun stuff and whatever, but I guess he looks more like a wolf. You know what I mean? Like you just take those two boxes and you just slowly cut away and you slowly add. You were sewing pants? Oh, yes, yes, yes. The pants video. I love those pants. I have to finish those. Let's see this, let's see this, let's see this. I missed a bunch. So I need to learn art for 7 hours? It doesn't need to be 7. By the way, Nathan Crow, you didn't greet me properly. Just a hey, Crow. Damn! Was I in the middle of teaching a lesson? Hey, Crow, how are you? Missed you. Am I nothing to you now? No, you're everything. Don't worry about it. To be honest, whenever I draw now, it's only practice, so I can't draw anything for fun anymore. Oh, that's another hurdle. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I understand that. Well, maybe you take like a very specific break in practice and you like just go, oh, actually, here's something. This will kickstart creativity. This is going to help whoever's listening. So, you've spent, let's say, a month doing only practice, right? Go back into your sketchbook from when you were drawing for fun and redraw those things and see if you can do it better with all of the practice that you've done. And pretty quickly you're going to realize, oh my God, yes, I can draw this arm way better now. I can draw this face way better. I can make this drawing what I imagined in the first place now much easier. And that'll kickstart your creativity like super easily. You're greeting me like humans? No, no, no. I'm not ignoring you. Don't, no. It's alright, Crow. It's okay. We're all here. We're all enjoying each other. We're all making ka jokes. Okay. Where are we at? Does that make sense, Bloom? Quartz, I hope you're having a good time. If I become depressed, I'll make my name the Sad Shroom. That's actually very nice and very easy for all of us. Your username is just the emotion that you're feeling that day. Then we know. Then we know exactly how to broach certain subjects. Kaka. There we go. I'm glad somebody got it. Okay. What next? I don't really know. What, it's been 40 minutes? Hey, guess what? I might just call it there. We're chilling. Wait. Give me something to draw. Somebody, Crow or Galaxy. You guys have to decide something. Or I'll go back to... Here, check this out. I'm drawing these 3 turkeys in a business meeting. Draw a Gothic church castle. A flower. Okay, those are fun. We'll do some of those. Let's do a flower. Flowers, I learned, they're always really tough, but recently, especially with doing all of this theory, I think my problem is just mass and structure. I do practices and learn anatomy like every day, but knowing the info doesn't exactly help me at all. Oh, very interesting. If I do say so myself. You're not a believer? So I've been trying to figure out how to figure drawing, but then art block hits, so I'm scrambling. Ooh, that's very interesting. Maybe you can't draw hands. We could do a hands demo. I feel like I do hands, like how to draw hands a lot. Basically, what you could start doing, Bloom, is going through like Google Images or YouTube or whatever show you're watching at that time. Just like pause and draw what you see on screen. Like if someone's sitting in a chair or whatever, draw that person. And it sounds strange, but if you can start drawing people and like spaces and all of those things, that mass and whatever issue will start clicking because you're going to start seeing proportions and perspective a lot different. And then that's also like you don't need to be creative there. You're just like you're drawing people, and then as you're drawing those people, maybe see in the picture that you're looking at, this guy is sitting down, but in your drawing you draw him standing up dunking a basketball. Like you're just like slightly tweaking, just grab something you see and start pretending and start like basically journaling by drawing. That'll be very fun, and I think that'll help a lot. Whereas grape, I don't know, grape just dipped. Figure and gesture drawing, forgot that. Yeah, figure and gesture drawing helps a lot. Because people take up the most space ever. And if you can draw a person, you can pretty much draw anything. Flowers, guess what? Same thing. Let's start with a box. And this box is proportionate. It's in perspective. So if this vanishing point is way out here, all these lines are going to connect there. And then we're going to set up 2 cross lines. And guess what? This is where it gets epic. Wait, they disappeared? They were here? Oh, yeah. Half my playlists are depressed songs. Yeah, Galaxy, you gotta start listening to some happy music, or doing something happy, like going for walks outside. I'll try that out. I'm gonna watch a movie after this anyways, so it'll work when I pause. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's kind of fun, and then also do like, draw the person for 20 seconds, draw the person for 1 minute, and then draw the person for 5 minutes. And like really crank through detail and really crank through the difference of, like, when you start drawing people for 5 minutes, you realize how long 5 minutes is. And when you're drawing people for like 20 seconds, you realize you can only get like how they're sitting or how they look barely. And it's like, that's a really fun method to get down and get your brain sort of tuned into the zone of how to draw. Outside is cold and then I'll be kidnapped. That's actually that's pretty fair. Crow, I'm currently playing Minecraft. Ooh. I gotta get him. I have to get back on Minecraft. I gotta get a world going. It's on like, I want to so bad, but every single day when I have time, I get swept away. Y'all are doing great, but me. Sorry, Galaxy. But with this flower, since it's already in perspective, we can draw this first little node, right, the middle of the flower. And because same thing with the cookie drawing earlier, we're going to be able to see the sides and the top. You got cheesecake? Ooh, you lucky bastard. So we're going to draw basically like a gumdrop coming out of this, just as our intro. And then all of the petals are going to be on this plane, right? That's where a lot of people, when they're drawing flowers, they kind of go everywhere and they think flowers look like cartoons. They don't. They all have to be working in physics, right? In this real world. So this front petal that's going to be pointing right at us is going to end up being really, really short. But because we're drawing in perspective, it's going to end up looking really realistic. And the same thing goes for all of these. So we can just slowly start adding in these sort of lima bean stretched out bean shapes, just getting all the way to the edges that we set up for ourselves, right? And these are all just structure notes. These aren't actually like the final petals. And then once we get here, we're going to start realizing that the front petals are going to be covering up the back petals, right? So now we can start here, and this petal is going to be covered up by that front one. Same with this one. And now we're going back to this area, and guess what? All of the rules apply, just in reverse. So this one's going to be covered up by that one. That one's going to be covered up by this one, and so on and so forth. And then, like, look at this. We have a very, like, realistic looking flower setup, right? Crow, it's, oh, Poochie, what's up? Everybody's back. It's like a family reunion. Hurt me physically all you want, but you know I'm being attacked mentally. Oh, no. Galaxy, you'll be fine. Who's attacking you mentally? Everybody in chat, I guess. You can also shroom. Everything? No, Galaxy. It's okay. We'll be fine. And then, now that we have all of these, we just get to go in and add little bits of detail everywhere, right? So I'm just going to add in some shading, some random whatevers, and then some texture on this guy. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back around all of these petals and all of these details that we just went through, just set up for ourselves, and we're going to make them look cool and realistic. So I'm going to use a darker pencil, and I'm going to add just a little bit of flair on all of these. So, like the little ends of petals, I'm going to add those in there. I'm going to add a little bit of depth. I'm going to add a little bit of difference in all the petals. I'm going to remember all of those perspective switches that I made. I'm going to add curves on everything. And guess what? Slowly, oh, that was a nice one. Slowly but surely, we're getting to a point where this flower looks way more realistic than anything we've drawn today, because we took our time with, you know, some of these little setups. And then we can add in these little stem details. Just nothing crazy, just little curved lines, just to give us a little bit of depth where we think we need it. This one can be sort of a triangle. And then we're going to add in a little fuzzy polyp ball in the middle. And we can just add in a little bit of shading. And guess what? Holy smokes. That's how you draw a little flower like that. That's a brown-eyed Susan, by the way. Real flowers enthusiasts know. Perfect. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh my god, you guys are going crazy! Sensitive as hell. You keep getting hate, too. Oh, that stinks, Galaxy. I'm sorry. The trees aren't speaking Vietnamese, so you're fine. True, that is sort of like, that's the litmus test of if things are going okay or not. Who are you going to text, Poochie? That's really brutal. But you know what, Galaxy? It's always going to get better. So, hang in there. We've got you. Ghostbusters. But that kid called me fat out of the blue. You weren't wearing gear either. Well, that kid is probably hurting themselves. So, you know. People talk smack all the time. Okay, with that, I have plans at 5. I've got plans. I've got places to be. So, I'm sorry, Galaxy. I wish I could help you out some more, but you're a lot stronger than that person. You can handle it. You can break through. Don't beat him up. Just do not. You don't need to lay hands on whoever said that to you. They're lying. They're always going to be lying. They're always just trying to get at you. So the best revenge is to not let their words hurt you. I am leaving you, Poochie. But you know what? I'm getting back on my shift, so I should be hopefully live every day, which is a very, very big claim. But we're gonna try. So we're gonna be chilling. I'm also gonna try not to be super late, so then Bloom doesn't have to stay up until 1 a.m. watching me draw butts. Alright, with that, I'm out of here, everybody. You guys are great. Galaxy, you're gonna be fine. You're strong. You've got this. Crow, always love having you around. Bloom, always love having you around. Poochie, always love having you around. Everyone else, great to have you. This is awesome. Goodbye. That's it.